Step 1. Find sand. Step 2. Literally trap lightning inside it. Step 3. Bully it into doing math that you suck at. The journey from Grok throwing rocks to us literally making rocks think has been completely unhinged. 50,000 years ago, if Grok wanted to keep track of how many mammoths he owned, he had a major skill issue. His brain was literally too small to count that high. So he invented the first calculator. He picked up rocks off the ground and got to work. 1 rock equals 1 mammoth. Easy. But soon Grok had another problem. He got too rich. Carrying around 500 rocks to count his mammoth was literally destroying his lower back. And honestly, we can't really blame him. Biologists have pointed out that Grok's brain was the exact same size as yours. He had the same capacity for complex thoughts, dreams, and existential crises. But because his entire daily grind was to survive the saber-toothed cat and find berries, he didn't have the luxury of time. For nearly 99% of human history, our ancestors stared at the exact same rocks on the ground, using them to make basic spears or vandalized cave walls without ever realizing the insane computational power sleeping inside the sand under their feet. And the insane part was that Grok was literally already carrying the answer in his pocket the whole time. We just didn't figure it out until 50,000 years later. So humans had to find a way to do math without rocks. Our first brilliant idea was to carve gears out of metal and stone. We built things like the abacus and eventually giant steam-powered mechanical calculators with brass gears turning other gears. But gears had a massive design flaw. They were physical. They got rusty, they got stuck. They could only turn as fast as you could physically crank them. If you wanted to do complex algebra, your mechanical calculator would need to be the size of a shopping mall, and it would literally explode from the friction. So we realized we had to ditch the physical gears. We needed something faster. But then we discovered electricity. Electricity moves at the speed of light, which is perfect. But to make electricity do math, we needed a switch to turn the current on and off. So we built massive glowing glass vacuum tubes. What are these, you may ask? These were basically giant fragile light bulbs that allowed us to route electricity without any moving gears. But once again, the universe hit us with a design flaw. These glass tubes got so hot they attracted literal moths, which got fired inside the machines and broke them. This is where we got the first literal computer bug. To run a basic calculator back then, you needed a warehouse-sized room full of these glass bulbs, and 3 of them would explode every hour. It was basically high maintenance but had 0 error points. We needed a switch that was microscopic, didn't get hot, and wouldn't shatter if a bug looked at it wrong. And here's where everything starts sounding like Bill Nye if he was a magician in the 18th century. One single breakthrough, discovered almost by accident, let us shrink that entire warehouse of glass into something smaller than your fingernail. And that is when humans remember the sand we'd been walking on for thousands of years. You see, sand is full of silicon. Silicon is a semiconductor, which is just a fancy way of saying it is a really confused material. It doesn't know if it wants to conduct electricity or block it. So as greedy as all humans are, scientists decided to take advantage of it. First, we melted the sand down into ultra-pure silicon. In its pure state, silicon is like a super awkward group chat where all the atoms are holding hands completely silent. No electricity can pass through them, so we added some toxicity to the group chat. We injected impurities into the silicon, basically inviting extroverts and introverts to the group chat. The extroverts brought extra electrons looking for high fives. The introverts were missing electrons, desperately searching for high fives. When they put these 2 silicons together, they formed a transistor. It was like a microscopic bouncer deciding if electrons get into the club. It was a light switch where instead of using a physical gear or a fragile glass bulb, it was controlled purely by electricity. Because we didn't have to build physical switches anymore, we could print them. We used lasers and stencils to shrink a map of billions of these microscopic bouncers and burned it directly onto a slice of rock the size of your fingernail. And that is how we tricked rocks into thinking. We went from Grok carrying heavy rock and his sparkers to us printing billions of microscopic rocks inside a piece of glass. But the ludicrous part is, Grok's brain as well is literally just a biological motherboard. His thoughts are just electrical signals bouncing around his neurons. We didn't actually invent a new way of thinking. We just rebuilt our own brain inside a piece of sand. And if a rock can think just because we arrange its atoms in a specific way, what does that say about us? Are we just weak computers running out really complex software update? Let me know in the comments.
Hey Grok, wake up! What do you mean microchips? Transistors? What are you talking about? We should get going to hunt that mammoth!